everyone, welcome to the Flurist Programmer, where code and music meet creativity. Today I'm going to show you how can you build an advanced note app. So if you are forgetful and you want to write down something and you want to classify the notes by colors as a level of importance, this is the app that you are looking for. If you like the video and you want to see more tutorials like this, don't forget that you can hit the like button, subscribe and share with your family and friends. It will be a huge help for the channel, the Flurist Programmer. Also, if you have any questions, don't forget that you can make a post on the comment section and I will be more than happy to help you. Before we dive into the coding session, as we have been doing on previous lessons, I'm going to show you a live demo of how the app looks like, so in this way you know what you are going to be building with me. So let's go to the monitor. The app that we are going to be building today is an advanced notes app, and as the name suggests, you can create notes. The interesting part about this app is that you can make the notes, you can search for the notes, and also you can edit them, and as well as selecting different colors for the nodes, and all the data that you do is going to be persisted throughout local storage. So let me show you all the functionalities. First, we have an advanced nodes app heading here. We have a search input where we can search the nodes. Then here we are going to write the node that we want. Then we can select here on a drop down option the different colors that you want the nodes, and then we have the button of save nodes. So let's proceed to create a node. My first node, good. And now instead of a white color, let's select green, for example, and I click on save node. As you see here, we have my first node, which is the content of the node, and then it displays the day where it was created, in this case, the day as well as the time. So what happens right now, if I want, by some example, I want to edit my node, I can double click on the node, and this will be opening a model here. And here we can, for example, let's put my first node is edited, and let's click on OK. Good. And if I reload the page, as you see, the data persists over there. And also, if I want, by some reason, I want to delete the node, I can just click here on the cross sign, and I will be able to delete the node. Let's create another one. So let's create two nodes. Node 1, hello. Let's put this one on yellow, and then node number 2, how are you? And let's create this one in color pink. So now if I want to search for a specific node, I can just look for example, let's put node 1. As you see here, it will be popping the first one. Or if I just put by hello, it will be also popping the first one. If I want to look for the how are you and just put you, it will be showing only the second one. So this is all the app that we are going to be building. On the first side, it seems that it's quite, I would say, easy to develop, but there are some background things and logic that we need to handle, and that's the part that I want to show you on this video. So let's proceed to the coding session. Let's proceed by creating the folder where we are going to be working on the projects. So as you know, I always create the folders on the desktop. So I have my folder here, and I put the name of advanced notes application. Once you create the folder on the location of your choice, let's proceed to open the editor that you want, and also as well as the browser. In my case, as you see, I already have them open here. I have my folder on Visual Studio Code, and next to it I have my browser where I will be checking the changes on real time. So let's proceed to create the 3 necessary files that we need, that we have been doing on previous sessions. The first one is index.html. Second one, styles.css. And the third one, script.js. Good. Let's proceed to the index.html. Let's type the exclamation mark and then tap on the first choice of the M abbreviation to generate the dovetail structure. Great. Let's proceed now to make a right click on the index.html and then open with the live server extension. So in this way, we are going to open the tab here. Let me close this one. And let's start with the index.html. So first that we are going to do is change the title. The title is going to be Advanced Notes App. Good. We need to reference the styles. So let's put a link before of it. It's going to be a style sheet, and we want the href to reference to the styles.css on the root location. Good. Now on the body, let's proceed to create a div. This div is going to have a class of container. Then we want another div inside of it. And this div is going to have the class of title container. Good. Inside of the second div, we want to put an h2 heading, and we are going to have the same title, Advanced Notes App. Good. And we want an input of type text. We want to reference an ID because we are going to be getting the values through our JavaScript search input. In camel case, we want a class that is going to be search bar. We want a placeholder that is going to be search notes, then 3 dots. And for the last, I want the autocomplete to be of, as I say on previous sessions, this attribute is up to you. Basically, if you are typing right now something here and then by some reason later you want to try again and type new stuff, basically you get suggestions about the previous values that you have typed on the input. In my case, since I don't want, and that's why I'm putting the autocomplete off, so it's up to you if you want to put it or not. So after the second div here, we are going to proceed to open a new one next to it. And we want this one to have a class of controls. Here we are going to be using a new text input that we haven't used before, which is the text area, where we are going to be capturing the content of the node of the user. In this case, we want the ID to be node input, camel case. We want a placeholder to say write your node here, then 3 dots 2. Good. Let's proceed right now to make to open another HTML tab that we haven't used before, which is the select, and this is for showing a drop down of options. We are going to use an ID of color select. So here we're going to choose the color of the node that we want to display with, the node that we want to create. Inside of the select, we need to use options in order for the user to let it know, to let him choose the option that he wants. So let's put the first option, and the value is going to be FFF. So this is going to be the equivalent to white. Let's copy and paste this 5 times. 1, oh yeah, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Let's put here the value. I have the values. I'm just going to copy and paste, so this way I don't make a mistake to it. The first one, the second one is a FFEB3B, and this is the equivalent of color of yellow. The second one, the third one in this case, is going to be FFC107, and this one is equivalent to amber color. Then I have here number 4CA F50. This is equal to green. We have 2 more to go. The other one here is 03A9F4, and this is equivalent to blue. And the last one we have here is number E91 E63, and this is equivalent to pink. Good. Yes, so we have all the options there, and then we want the button. We want a button to submit the notes. So let's add an event handler here on click. We want to listen for the on click, and we are going to trigger a function that is going to be called addNote, and we want to have a content of save note. Good. So now after we close this div, let's proceed then to have here another div where we are going to have class of nodes, and then we want an ID of the same two nodes. This is where we will be injecting the nodes throughout JavaScript. So after we close all the div with the container, before closing the body, we want to import the script track. So in this way we can reference to the script.js file that we have on the root location. One small thing here that we need to fix is that here in section, instead of section, it needs to be a select. Yeah, good. Yeah, so as you see now, we are able to see all the options. Yeah, because previously I had a section here, but that's an error because inside of the sections we can have options. So you change from section to select, and we are good to go. Let's proceed to give some styles to the body. First, we want a font family of Arial. If there is not an Arial, let's go to Helvetica or sans serif, as we are doing before. We want a background of number F4, F6, FA. Good. And we want a padding of 20 pixels. Good. So now let's proceed with the container. In the container, we want to display flex. And then we want to flex direction of column. We want a max width of 800 pixels. So this means that the max width that we want for the whole container is going to be 800 pixels. Greater than that is not going to be allowed. A margin of auto. Then we want a background of FFF. We want a padding on top and bottom of 20 pixels. And then left and right, we want 30 pixels. Good. We want a border radius of 12 pixels. And then we want a box shadow of 0, 2 pixels, 15 pixels. I have an RGBA that we are going to be using for the shadow, that it will be this one. Good. Now we want to give some styles for the title container class. For the title container, we want a display of flex, and then we want also a flex direction to be column. Nice. So as you see now, the search input is taking the whole space of the container in this case, which is the padding component, the padding element. For the H2, we want text align or center, and then we want a color of number 333, some kind of black, a little bit lighter. Then we want give styles for the controls class. Here in the controls, we want to display flex or the flex box. There you go. Then we want a flex grab. To grab, this means that it will be taking the available space of the element. So that means that if the resolution ends up being a little bit smaller, it will be taking that available space. So then we want a margin bottom of 15 pixels. Good. And now let's proceed with the text area. Text area. For the text area, we want a flex of 1. Then we want mean height of 80 pixels. You see. Later, we want a padding of 10 pixels. Then a border radius of 8 pixels. Also, I forgot that here on the controls, I want a gap. So I want some space between the elements, and I want them to be 10 pixels. So you see now we have some slight gap on it. Good. Now let's continue here on the text area. Here on the text area, I want a border to be 1 pixel solid and then number CCC. Good. And we want a resize none. So this means that if, as you see, if I just remove this, me as user, I can resize the text area. So as you see here, so if we want to avoid this, we just place that option that says resize none. So therefore, we won't allow the user, in this case the end user, to resize the text area because we want to maintain it with this specific width and height that we set on the CSS styles. Now let's proceed to get certain inputs, certain classes to the styles, to the select tag, the button, and as well as the input. These are styles that will be applicable for the 3 HTML elements. So we want padding of 10 pixels. We want a border of 1 pixel solid, and then number CCC. And we want a border radius of 8 pixels. Good. So now let's proceed with some styles for the button. For the button, I want the button to have a background of number 0077 and double F. So this is for a blue. I want a color to be white for the font color. Good. And I want a cursor to be pointer. Nice. So I want for the button on hover state to be with background in this case number 005FCC. So it's a little bit darker, but yeah, the difference is not that much. Then we want to declare some styles for the notes class. So for the node class, we are going to have a margin top of 10 pixels. We want a display of flex, and we want a flex direction of column. Good. For the node specifically, individually, we want a cursor pointer. We want a margin of 10 pixels top and bottom, 0 on left and right. Good. Then we want a position relative. We want a background of number FA. Border radius of 8 pixels. We want a padding of 15 pixels. We want a border to be 1 pixel solid number DDD. We want to make some transitions here, so let's put transition. I want all the CSS properties to have a transition of 0.2 is. So this is a way of declaring that all the properties that maybe we want to change on a hover or another state, that we want them to have this 0.2 transition. Instead of being so specific as we have been doing on other tutorials where I just put the name of the property that I want to apply the transition, this is another ways that we can reference the transition in other properties of the CSS. So there is no need here to, for example, if I want to change the background of the note, to be referencing here because we are using the all. So this means that all these properties, if I wanted, they will be applicable with the 0.2 seconds each. Oh yeah, I forgot here the seconds, the S. We want the word grab to be a break work. So this means that if we have a node that is very long, it will be breaking it to the next line. Good. So now the node on hover, I wanted to transform, and I want to scale its size, scale, and I want to scale of 1.02. So it would turn a little bit bigger. And since we are using the transition, that means that the transfer is going to be applicable with the transition. So now on the node here, I want to reference for the color tag. And then for the color tag, I want display of inline block. I want a width of 16 pixels. I want a height of the same value, 16 pixels. I want a border radius of 50% and a margin right of 8 pixels. As you know, you may not see right now these elements on the UI because we haven't worked on the part of the script.js where we are injecting them. We will work in that in just a sec. So now let's proceed to give some styles to the node small. So we want to reference the node class and then small. And this node small, we want a color to be number 666. Then we want a font size of 12 pixels. We want a display of blocks, so we want the element to be showing the UI. We don't want it to be hidden. We want a margin top of 6 pixels. Good. Now we want for the node and delete class. Here I want to put the position of absolute. This means that the cross sign, in this case for the delete, is going to be on a specific position. So I want the top to be 8 pixels. I want the right to be 10 pixels. So as you may see, we use a position relative on the node box. So when the node box is created, in this case, when the user creates a node, it's going to have the container, the position relative. When I apply in a children component, in this case, or element, the position of absolute, that means that this element is not going to go outside of the parent container in this case. So if I put a top of 8 pixels and right of 10 pixels, that means that is going to be on the top right side corner of the node. You will see when we reach out to that part of the coding session. Here I want to have a cursor pointer too. Let's put a color of red and a font weight of bold. Good. And for the last, we need to assign certain styles for the search bar class, which is for the input. We want a margin bottom of 15 pixels. Then we want a padding of 10 pixels. Good. We want a border radius to be 8 pixels. And for the last, we want some border to have 1 pixels solid and the color number CCC. So as you see, guys, our project is starting to take some form. So we are done with the part of the styles.css. So let's proceed right now to the interaction of the page to the script.js. Let's proceed to get some elements throughout the document.getElementById. So first we need cons nodes container, and we're going to use document.getElementById, and the ID that we want is nodes. So this is for the nodes container where we will be injecting the nodes created. Then we want cons node input is going to be document.getElementById, and we want the node input. So this node input is the one that we have here, is the text area. So the third one, we want cons color select, which is the select that we have here, where we can select the color of the node that we want. So document dot get element by ID, and we want to get the ID of color select. Great. And for the last, we want cons the search input, the one that we have here, and we want document dot get element by ID, and let's look for the search input ID in camel case. Good. Now we are going to create a function that is going to call loadNotes. That, as the name suggests, we are going to be loading the nodes that we already have. So since we are going to be using local storage, right now here we are going to verify that if we already have a value from local storage, we're going to display. If not, we are going to be displaying an empty array. So let's create the const nodes, and then we want to parse the result, json.parse, and we want local storage.get item. We want to get the item with the key of nodes. In the case that is not available, then we are going to be using OR operator, and we want to pass an empty array. Good. Then we are going to call another function that we are going to be created, that is called displayNotes. We are going to be creating these nodes in a sec. And we need to pass a parameter that in this case is going to be the nodes that we are fetching from the local storage, or in this case the empty array. So now let's proceed to create the function of displayNotes, where we want the nodes parameter. And here we want the nodes container, the one that we got on the first line. And we want to modify its inner.html to be empty, an empty string. And then we want to iterate to each node. So we're going to do nodes dot for each. Then on each node we want to do something. We want to get the node as well as the index. And then cons node div, we are going to create an element, document.createElement, and we want to create a div tag. Then for the node div, the class name, the class we are going to assign that is going to be node. There are two ways that we can add a class, this one, or we could be doing node div dot class list class dot add, and then we will be passing the name of the class that we want to add. But yeah, either approach is okay. I will be sticking with the first one that I just showed you. Then let's put node div, and we want to modify the background property, so we need to enter to the style and then the background, and we want the background to be no of the color, so we are going to be setting the background of the color that the user selected for that specific node. This is the way that we are doing it. And then node div, we are going to modify its inner HTML, so we are going to be using backtips here. Let's give some space here. We want span. Let's open and close it. Good. And inside of this span, we want to assign a class of delete. This will be for the delete sign. We want to add an on-click handler that is going to be delete note. Since we want to, we need to use string interpolation to use some variables here because we want to pass the index of the node that we want to delete. Good. And then we are going to put a cross sign. The cross sign, you can just get it from a website that is called Emojipedia. I already have the tab open here, as you can see. So if I go to this tab, you just look in Google for Emojipedia, and then in this case, I'm going to look for cross. Yeah, you can see that we want this sign here, the cross mark. So all we do is click over there and then just copy, and here we are going to paste it, and that's it. We have the sign. So let's go back to the project. Good. Now we want to open a div. So let's open and close a div. We want this div to have double DBL click. This is another event that we can handle. So this means that if the user makes a double click, we want to do something. Okay, so let's proceed on DBLC click. On double click, we want the user to fire the event of editNote. We are going to pass a parameter to the editNote, and in this case, we also need the index. So now that we got that from the div, now we need to add some more elements inside of the first div. So let's open another div that we need here, and we are going to close it. Good. Here we want to add a class of color tag, and we want a style. This we are going to be assigning a inline styles. So this is a way that we can assign styles without having the need of putting on the CSS file. So we are going to assign a background of the node color. So we need to use string interpolation here, node.color. So in this way, the background of the nodes are going to be dynamic according to the color that they assign from the user. So good, we have that over there. Then we need to open and close a span tag. Span. Great. Here we are going to use a string interpolation to use to show the text of the node. So node.text. And for the last, we need a small here, small tag. This is for showing the date that where it was modified and created. Oh, so yeah, we need small is with WL. Good. Here for the small, last updated, and then we are going to be using a string interpolation again, and we want the property of node.date. Good. After this, we want to append everything to the nodes container. So nodes container dot append shell, and we want to append in this case the node div that we just created here. So let's put node div. So this means that we are going to be updating and appending a new node on every iteration that we have on the nodes array that we get from the local storage. Good. So let's proceed now to create the function of addNote. Function of addNote. For this one, we need a const variable that is going to be called no text. It's going to be equal to no input dot value dot trim. Trim here is for getting the white spaces that we have between the words. Then we want const node color, and we want the color select. So we are getting the value from the select option where we are choosing the color that we want for the node. If no text, this means if there is a text on the node, then we want to do something. So let's do here const nodes is going to be equal to json.parse, and then we want to get the nodes again from local storage. So let's put local storage.getItem. We want to get the item from the nodes key, and in the case that they are not available or is empty, we want to populate with an empty array. Then we want to create a new node, so we are going to create a new object. Const new node is going to be equal to an empty object where we are going to assign certain properties. The first one is going to be text, and we want the node text that we are getting from the text area. Second one, we want the color, so we want node color. Good. And for the last, we want the date. The date, we are going to be using the new date, in this case, object. And then we want to local date, to local string. So what we want here is that we want to get the current day, and then we want to convert the date to a string, in this case format, to be a text. Then we want on the nodes array, we want to push the new node. So we put here the new node. We're adding here to the array of nodes. Then we want to update the local storage. So local storage.set item. We want to set the item with the key of nodes. And we want to format with JSON stringify. We want to pass the nodes, because the nodes right now is updated with the new index that we just added here by pushing it. Good. And then we want to clear the values of the input. So no input, the value is going to be equal to empty string, and then we want to load the nodes. This is another method that we are going to be doing. This is the method that we do at the top. Good. So now let's proceed to the function of the deleteNote function. Delete node. We want the index, so in this way we can know what node we want to delete. So we want to get the nodes from the local storage. Const nodes. As you know, we need to do a json.parse to format the data from the local storage, and then we want to get the values from local storage.getItem. We want to reference to the nodes, and in the case that we don't have it, we do again the empty array. Then we are going to do nodes.splice, and we want to splice from the index that we got. We want to splice one index. So this means that, for example, if I have three nodes, the indexes are content from 0 to forward. So I want to delete the node number 2. In this case, it's going to be index 1. So that means that from index 1, delete me 1. So that means that the array will be ending with the node that was on the index number 0 and the node that was on index number 2. I hope that that is clear. So then here we are going to again update the local storage item. In the set item, we want to reference to the nodes key, and we want again we will need to format with JSON stringify. JSON stringify, we're going to pass the updated notes. Good. And after this, we want to load the notes again, because every time that we are making a change, we want to load the notes. So in this way, the UI can keep track of the latest changes. Good. So now we are going to proceed with the function of editNote. Function editNote. For this one, we also need the index. Good. So let's get the notes from local storage. I'm just going to copy and paste, because this is a line that we have repeated several times. So then from here, let's create a new const that is going to be new text. So this will be the new text that we want to edit for the notes. We want to use a function that is called prompt. This prompt is going to be popping a model, you will see, and then it will be capturing the value that you want for the new content of the node. So here we put the node, and then we need two parameters in this case. So the first one is going to be the message that we want to show. So let's put edit your node, and then here we are going to be referencing to the nodes. We want the index of the node, and then we want the text. Great. So now if the new text if different is different than null, that means that we got a new value. So we are going to be updating the current node. So nodes, in this case, with the index that it was passed as a parameter, we want to update the text, and the text is going to be equal to the new text that we captured from the prompt. And then we want to trim it to get rid of the white spaces on both sides. Then we want notes on the index as well, but we want to modify the date, because since we are making a modification, we also need to modify the date. So we want the new date helper, and we want to convert to strings, to local string, to local string. Great. That's it. And then later we want to update again the local storage. So I'm going to copy this. We want to update the local storage with the new values of the array, and then we want to load the node. So this is the new process that we did on deleteNote. So I'm just going to copy and paste, because I already explained you how these lines work. Nice. For the last, what we need here is we are going to add an event listener of input. So when the user is typing on the search input, this one is going to be looking if there are some matches for the available nodes that we have on the UI. So now let's do a search input, and we want to add an event listener. And we want to add an event listener when the user is typing, in this case, something on the input, and we want to do something with it. So here we are going to declare a const variable that is called const query, and we want to get the value from the search input. Sets input dot value, and we want to convert to lowercase, so this means if the user is using capitalized letters or characters or whatever, we are going to be converting all of that to lowercase. Then we want const nodes. We want to get it from local storage. So I have that here. Let's copy here because it's the same line. Const nodes. Good. Then we want to filter the matches that we get from the words that the user is typing on the search input. So const filter it, and we want to filter the nodes.filter. We want on every node do something. So here on the node we want node.text dot to lower case to see if it includes what the user is typing on the search input. And in this case, let's put displayNotes, and we want to pass the filtered. So what this means here, I'm going to explain you again this line, is that we are filtering the nodes that we get from local storage, and then on every node we are going to make a comparison with the description of the node, in this case the content. We are going to convert all the content to lowercase, and we are going to verify if there is a character that is included in one of the nodes that we have. Once the filtering is made, then we are displaying those nodes that are completely filtered, and that's why we are passing here the method of displayNotes. So in this way, the UI will be updated with the filter nodes. Once we have all the methods, the only thing that we are missing here is that we need to, on the first render, we need to add the method of loadNotes. So in this way, we are going to be loading the nodes from the beginning. So now let's proceed to testing the whole application. First, let's add a node. So let's put my first note. Good. Let me open the Index tab here so to see if we don't have any issues. So my first note, I'm going to click on Save Note. Good, that's working. Let me create another one. My second note, and I want to put this one with green color. Let's click on Save Note. Nice. So if I want to edit the node, I need to double click on it. Okay, so let's see here. editNote is not defined. So let's go to index.html on line 1. Reference not defined. Oh yeah. editNote. Oh yes. Okay. So on double click here. Oh yes. So on double click, editNote is not defined. So what's happening there? Oh yes. So here editNote, and we put editNote. Okay, yeah, makes sense. So let me just change here editNote. Good. So on editNote here, instead of the D, we are going to put editNote. Good. Now, so if I double click on it, nice, yeah. So we are fixing the errors here on real time, okay? So my first node, and then I'm going to put a parenthesis. I'm going to say edit. Good. So let's click on OK. Nice. That's working. And now what happens if I want to delete the nodes? Okay, so we got an error over there. Index is not defined on a script.js line 49. Index is okay. Yeah, nice. So on the function of delete node here, we forgot to place the X. So if we do this and we click right now on the first node, yeah, nice. So it's working. Let's create another one in this way to test for the first node. So my third node, and this one, let's put it with pink. This is the node number 4. Nice. And this one I wanted to put it with yellow. So now if I look for 4, for example, you see, nice, it's working. If I look for the second node, as you see, it's filtering and looking for the node that has that match. And that's it, guys. This is the whole application. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope to see you on the next video. If you want to continue learning, you can see more videos of my channel on this area here. See you in the next video. Bye.